Gaskell, a curator at the Whitney Museum. And I'm so pleased to be here with you today to talk about Edward Hopper, one of the giants of American art. Hopper was born in Nyack, New York, a small town. He started out as an illustrator, but very soon realized that he wanted to be a fine artist. He began his work with a group called the Ashcan Painters, which were artists in New York who went out to the streets to paint everyday life. The leader was Robert Henry. He was a charismatic teacher. He urged his students to go out and find life as it was lived on the streets of New York. Hopper didn't believe that art was a direct representation or mirror of observed reality. He felt that his art was what he called fact seen through the inner personality of the artist. So his art was always a combination of what he observed and his own inner life, as he described it. He was very quiet, taciturn, and the paintings had that reserved quality. The silence and the stillness of his work very much reflects his personality. Early Sunday Morning was a very important work for Hopper. It's a street scene in New York that he would have seen, he would have walked down every day of his life. And there's no one on the street. There's a sense of emptiness and stillness. The work is very quiet. There's a sense that something is going to happen. It entices viewers. He's making a space in which every person can enter and connect with his or her own thoughts and own experiences. So Early Sunday Morning is based essentially on geometries, on rectangles. There's the rectangle of the sky above the buildings, then the rectangles, of course, of the buildings, and the vertical rectangles of the windows and the storefronts. And you feel some of the diagonals of the light. Hopper's a wonderful colorist. There's always surprising colors in his work. You think of a very drab New York building and hear this brilliant blue sky. He's presenting the barber shop with the red and blue colors. So Hopper's always considered the great American realist, and his work is always identified as something quintessentially American. He painted an older kind of American subject. He painted houses that were old, lighthouses in Maine that were no longer in use, storefronts that were soon to be destroyed. In Early Sunday Morning, it's very fascinating. Over in the right-hand corner, there's a black square, almost as if he's representing or hinting at the skyscrapers that are being built above these storefronts. Hopper started out as a realist, and during the first couple of decades of his life, realism was an accepted style and very much in vogue. By the 40s and the 50s, as abstract expressionism came into being, and the whole idea that art wasn't about the objective world at all, but it was only about the artist's interior emotions, Edward Hopper remained true to himself, despite the periods in which his work was considered old-fashioned. The amazing thing about Hopper, he's considered the great American realist, but the work is so universally beloved. Hopper shows in Europe and Australia and China become the blockbusters of their cities. I think his work holds a kernel of what makes all great art great. I think he's able to create and represent something that's so universal about the human condition. And it's why people looking at Hopper's paintings feel they've experienced that same thing in their own lives.